Welcome back to this episode of the Theme Park Universe podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Dre, and guess what? We're going live.
We are going live. That is correct here. Let's see if I can play
We'll do it live.
There you go.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
That's us right now. We are live with this episode of Theme Park Universe podcast right here. Hopefully y'all got notifications. Hopefully you got the tweet out right there. How are you doing, Wizard? How are you doing on this fine, lovely afternoon with us being live?
I'm doing terrible. Just kidding. April Fools. You get it? April 1st. I am doing fantastic. Fantastic. In fact, I have my brand new setup here that I'm testing out. This first live stream on a new setup. So I'm very excited.
That's fantastic, man. That is awesome right there. Just want to make sure that the stream is going okay. So sorry about that, guys. Do apologize. Getting everything together right here because we both have new setups, interestingly enough. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. Sorry about that. Do apologize. But hopefully you will give us a little bit of leeway on that. There has been so much happening in the theme park world right now, Wizard. Where do you want to start? Do we want to start with the big news out of Epic Universe? Do we want to start with Joe Rhode?
Let's start with the How to Train Your Dragon. What'd you think, Dr. Dre, of that?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Hold on, let me move my double screen. Okay, there you go.
There we go. There we go.
Universal today revealed the Isle of Berk, which is their next world, and it'll be the largest world at 15.5 acres and pretty well completed land. It has three rides, one play area, one show, plenty of quick service, tons of animatronics, drones, and more. What a complete land, Dr. Dre.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think they're saying, 160,000 square feet of rockwork in this land as well. So at 15 acres, a lot of people will note that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is only 14 acres. Cars Land and Pandora about 12 acres. So this is a massive, massive land to incorporate, like you said, Wizard, drones, walk around characters. Apparently there's going to be like 30 dragons that people can see either walking around or creviced somewhere.
And sticking out. There's some will have tails sticking out of buildings. All animatronics, so it'll be quite nice. And a couple of animatronics on that coaster too.
That's a good one. I actually did not know about that right there.
The two show scenes, they'll have a Toothless and Hiccup. In fact, you can see in one of the, I think, Amusement Insider's testing video they shot, you can see the Hiccup animatronic cranking the launch up, and then there'll be Toothless there, and there'll be Toothless again on the second launch, which would be cool.
Oh, that is cool. I actually did not know that. That's awesome. So it's going to be a little bit like, I don't want to say necessarily just like Flight of the Hippogriff, because obviously we know that this is going to be a little bit more extreme of a coaster, but where you have animatronics to the side, or like a Hagrid's, for example.
Yeah, it'll be like in between Hippogriff and Hagrid's, and the cool thing, Dr. Dre, is, Universal, once again, addressing complaints because each of these height requirements are very good for Universal standards. The coaster has a 40-inch height requirement, which is like Space Mountain level, right? The coaster will be going 45 miles per hour. A 40-inch height requirement means almost everybody can get on it, even the littlest of kids. Yeah. And they still get a good fun time. The highest height requirement is the flat ride at 48 inches, which is still not bad. No, under 50. And the best part, Dr. Dre, the boat ride has 0 height requirement. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, this is supposed to be, I've described this before, this is supposed to be their version of almost like a Toontown, or almost like a kid-friendly land, one that the entire family can kind of engage in these experiences and stories. So I think for me, if you're attempting to meet that requirement for a theme park to have some somewhere for kids to go. I think this is a perfect choice of theme. I think this is a perfect choice of IP. The way they're doing it and implementing it, I think is just it looks absolutely awesome. Also, too, a lot of people noted. Oh, go ahead.
For reference, I just want to reference Flight of the Hippogriff's height requirement is 39 inches. So it's around that. But this is obviously a much longer and better ride. So it's okay.
That makes a lot of sense right there. I think this is awesome. A lot of people were noting that this was one of the most kinetic lands they'd ever seen. I mean, just think of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and think of how static that is, as opposed to this, where you have moving boats underneath you, you have aerial acrobatics over your head, you've got a roller coaster, encircling this place. You've got water, large expanses of water, which honestly we just don't see a lot of incorporated in theme park lands. Unfortunately, we've got this beautiful centerpiece with the kind of long haul dining facility right there. I think it looks awesome. It looks great, very colorful, very that boat ride right there that you see right there with those moving targets. Apparently, there's going to be 130 of those mechanical moving targets right there. Just fascinating stuff. This looks great.
And it's good you mentioned the water because Celestial Park has water, Nintendo's water, this has water. If Dark Universe and Potter have some sort of fountain or something, then that means all the worlds will have some sort of water feature, which would be nice.
Absolutely fantastic. I love this. This really took the internet by storm. Some people have stated that, could we have had a dark ride? I suppose. That's, again, there are plenty of expansion pads in order to add that. So if they feel a need to, I have no doubt that they will. Some people were saying, couldn't get a flight of passage type experience, which it's interesting because we got some recent patents filed, which we'll get into in a moment. But the screen-based stuff, I don't know. Now, there's something about the tangent.
Interesting about that, because one, we have that awesome show coming, the Untrainable Dragon.
Yes.
But there was going to be a flight of passage type thing with riding a dragon, but they went against that idea because it is a screen-based ride, and they didn't want another simulator. They wanted a whole bunch of practical stuff. So they did. That wasn't the early concept, but then they, I think, for better, went away with it.
I don't disagree. I think it was for the better that those concepts may have dropped off, only because, like you said, I like the practical, like the tangible.
Yeah. Now they can, like you said, an expansion pad, like it would be cool, like some kind of not flying coaster, but like imagine like a dark ride where you're you're flying, like a flying coaster, but you're not a coaster. It's almost like a flying dark ride where you're on a dragon, like you are the dragon, you're flying like suspended dark ride. That could be cool for an expansion pad in the future.
I would like that. We've seen flying coasters done actually really well. We just rode not you, Ethan, but Elizabeth, who we can hear a little bit of the background. Sorry about that, guys. But Elizabeth and I actually just rode one of the more famous versions of these flying attractions, Tatsu, over there at Six Flags, right? B&M Flyer, very popular model. I think I could see that. And some of the concept art, if you look at it, I think it was, who was it? Was it Alicia Stella pointing out the fact that if you look at the background, there are some nods to Universal's
By the way,
past.
if you go back up to that white dragon there, okay, so that guy will be an animatronic, and he'll be spraying like a mist statue. That's what that is trying to depict right there.
That's
I forgot the character's name, but that's like an actual fame. That guy has a name in the movies, second or third. Oh, by the way, this is between the second and third movies. This timeline when they're all living together. Nice thing. But yeah, that would be a nice spot to cool down. You can sit there and get ice blown on you, which would be cool.
That's great. I love that. I think that's so cool.
Of course, don't forget about the Mead Hall Doctor.
The meat hall, like I was saying before, this sounds super, super cool. Let me see where we see that specifically. Yeah, this right here.
Yeah,
this looks
massive.
Awesome. Looks so good. Looks so cool. It looks like it's going to be very highly themed. Hey, maybe we get some show elements in here as well. That would be super cool. We know that they're going to have facial recognition technology implemented all over Epic Universe. We'll have to see how this is incorporated in a venue like this. I think that would be spectacular if it was. We can see the exterior right here. It just looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. There's nothing I don't like about this, Wizard. Honestly, there's nothing I don't like about this. This looks absolutely phenomenal. Look at the meet and greets right there, and also too.
Oh yes, you'll be able to meet Toothless and I forgot that dragon's name, but yeah, that one's name, and a whole bunch. Oh, and it's cool because each land will have an interactive thing. So Super Nintendo has the power band, Wizard has the wand, Dark Universe will have something. This land will be able to buy a tiny dragon and it can interact with all the animatronic dragons throughout the land.
That's cool.
And it can interact with other people's tiny dragons, and even with these meet and greets, and you'll be able to take it home, obviously, and interact with it more. So each land will have an interactive thing you can buy, and that's what this land is.
What is Dark Universes?
Not sure yet. I guess we'll find it. They'll definitely have something, but I'm not entirely sure what that one's going to be.
Okay. Some people were noting that they have done a Toothless meet and greet figure before. This is about 5 years ago via Mouse Play.
Here in Hollywood.
Yes, I believe this is Attractions Magazine.
So this version. So that's a puppet there,
right?
And then this guy, I've heard, will be half animatronic, half puppet. So it should be look way more advanced than this one. Yeah.
Okay.
And another fun fact that if Epic Universe wasn't built, apparently How to Train Your Dragon, or this land, was going to be replacing Lost Continent and Islands of Adventure because it was coming anyway. Which makes sense because I don't know if we said it on this podcast, but I remember telling you, Josh, right, that How to Train Your Dragon is always in the top 3 in merch sales for Universal Park, so it makes sense it's coming somewhere. And it makes sense why the land is so huge, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember that statistic there, Wizard, and this is what I've been trying to tell everybody. It's like, look, listen, there are multiple metrics at which you measure these things and their popularity. And if merchandise is still a big seller, if you're going into the production of a live-action remake of this film, well, obviously, there is a market. I believe it's one of the most successful animated franchises out there. And it looks phenomenal. People love this character. Made a big splash when he made his debut at Universal Studios Hollywood in promotion for the third film right there. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I can't wait until this opens up right here. I think this is just going to be phenomenal.
It's funny. I don't know if you noticed this too, but on Twitter, when the announcement came, I saw a lot of people say, wow, this is my least favorite land, least hyped up land. But after seeing this, I'm like 10 times more excited now. That's right. Almost like the Cars land effect, right? Not like the Cars movies versus the land. That's what I was telling people, it doesn't need to be a successful movie franchise, or you don't have to like the movie, but as long as the execution's great, they can make anything. Anything, even the good, if Disney made a good dinosaur land, like based on the Good Dinosaur, or like John Carter or something, if they did super well, I'm sure no matter how the movie's perceived, people would love it.
That's it exactly. And I tell this to people all the time. It's the quality of the execution that matters. We've seen great big franchises like Star Wars or Marvel necessarily come up short because, well, the executions weren't done in the way that we wanted them to be, or weren't up to expectations or whatever. But we've seen other lands that maybe we wrote off. I remember Avatar. For years, people said, it was the worst investment in the world. People weren't excited about it. It would detract from the Disney park experience. People weren't excited about it coming to Animal Kingdom. And then it opens and people are like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best theme park lands ever. So it really depends on the execution far more than the strength of franchise.
Exactly.
Or at least the perceived strength of the franchise.
And sometimes the land could. I saw a lot of people say they want to go and rewatch the movies. After seeing like this concept art, so it can reinvigorate the theme park land the movie franchise itself.
I agree. Don't count Universal out on this. I think this is going to be a phenomenal addition to the Universal Resort experience, but also it'll be awesome for Epic Universe. I think it'll be really, really nicely incorporated right there. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and move along here.
Time to be moving along.
Time to be moving along because there are some more great announcements right here coming from the theme park landscape. I want to go ahead and highlight this story just real fast. The Glamour Tram popcorn bucket. I think this is super cool. Obviously, I'm not going to, we don't cover all theme popcorn buckets. However, I think this one was really cool. It's representative of obviously the 60th anniversary, representative of Universal's illustrious past, at least in Universal Studios Hollywood. I think this is really, really great. Wizard, your thoughts? Are you going to be getting one?
Gosh, I'm running out of space for popcorn buckets, but I might. Looks good. Yeah, I mean, look, it looks like an official, it's like literally the tram itself. Also, bad on Universal Parks News today. You see, they totally blurred out the picture because that's in the stock room. So it's definitely an illegal picture that they shouldn't have shown. But the popcorn bucket itself is great. Just someone did a no there. You see, they try to fixate in black of those storage boxes in the back there. But I can't wait for the popcorn button to be released. Probably the middle of the month. So should be pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is great. You know what's also awesome, Wizard, that's been happening right now? Let's see here. Let's see if I can get...
What's also awesome is I don't know how you concentrate with 1,000 tabs open. My goodness, look at all those things.
It's a lot, I will say. I'll go into the order of them of how I've listed this out right here. Okay, maybe this isn't as awesome as I was expecting. I was expecting another story. However, I think this is really crucial because it does speak to another story, which I do definitely want to highlight. The settlement between Disney and the new Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, or CFTOD, has been established. Now, I don't want to go into everything about this whole thing because we'll just bore our audience to death. But just know this was crucial to establish expansions. I believe it was Andrew from Legal Mindset suggesting that, hey, look, listen, if with this out, in lieu of this being resolved, Disney can't necessarily move forward with big expansions, and it's at a time when this is so crucial, right? We have the $60 billion commitment by Disney over the next 10 years towards their theme park division. We have, Bob Iger has alleged that they want to invest $17 billion or as much as $17 billion in Florida alone here. Universal is ramping up their investments, and they're saying they want to invest $17 billion in their parks in Florida. This is crucial to get nailed down right here, and I think this is where some of the enthusiasm from Jeff Foley comes, the president of Walt Disney World Resort here. We are pleased to put an end to all litigation pending in state court in Florida between Disney and Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. This agreement opens up a new chapter for constructive engagement with the new leadership of the district and serves the interest of all parties by enabling significant continued investment and the creation of thousands of direct and indirect jobs and economic opportunities for the state right here. So big news. You can see more about this agreement on Blog Mickey's website right here. I think they have a good breakdown with an actual copy of the commitment itself right here. You can see, there were concessions made on both ends, and it did happen in a way that some have theorized, but maybe necessarily some people kind of wrote off. But nevertheless, it is happening, and that is good news right there.
And it's important because it happened right before the shareholders meeting and the show. Be very interesting to see how that goes in 2 days.
2 days. 2 days. That's all it is. But
10 a.m., folks. Stay tuned.
Oh yes, absolutely, right here. In preparation for that, though, and we'll get back to Walt Disney World in a moment because this all kind of ties together. Joe
Mr.
Rhode.
Earring is back.
Back in the building right here. The post reads, quote, beginning this week, Imagineers have an opportunity to participate in a series of master class work sessions led by Joe Rhode himself. Following in the footsteps of many former Imagineers, Joe continues to mentor and share his years of storytelling knowledge with current Imagineers, contributing to the future of creativity at Walt Disney Imagineering. And this was kind of cool because Joe Rhode actually himself posted about it. Here's his Instagram video of him walking into 1401 Flower Street, that beautiful building in Glendale that is to remain for the foreseeable future. Thankfully, there were some conversations that wasn't necessarily going to be the case, but well, it does look like in the wake of Barbarossa leaving, with Bruce Vaughan being elevated a little bit in stature, with the commitment to Glendale and the Imagineer staying in Southern California, it seems like they're on the right track and moving in a positive direction. And Joe Rhode is so crucial to the future development of this, even if he's not directly involved. We've got a lot of stuff happening, Wizard. I mean, take a look at this right here. We have the new HQ being set up. This is via Braden from Mickey Views right here. The new HQ being set up in Disney's Animal Kingdom for the Dino Land area. You can see right here where those WDI trailers are going right there. This beautiful graphic put together by Braden over there. Awesome stuff. He always does great work. You can see this construction umbilicus being set up to facilitate the construction at Dino Land. This is a big investment, and at about this time, you definitely want Joe Rhode at least being in the room for stuff like that. You can see the Project RO documents for Project ROTC trailer compound. All of those things were recently published right here. You can see some of this stuff from Behind the Thrills right here. I'm not going to get too into that because we've got a lot to go over right here. But you can see some of the concept art they've released before and a breakdown of what people think this might actually involve. Let me see if I can skip to it. Yes. Yeah. So, oh, I lost it again. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Here we go. So you can see right here, Indiana Jones taking over Dinosaur. We can see Restaurantosaurus rethemed. This kind of South American take on this prior land that used to be occupied by dinosaurs. We're thinking the lower dig site playground area being rethemed to something maybe around Coco. And then Encanto comes up in the upper left right there. So a lot of stuff happening right here. You want Joe Rhode in the room. Also, too, let's not forget Disneyland Forward just got approved by the Anaheim City Planning Commission. That's a crucial step before final approval from the City Council vote, which is what, April? Is it April 16th? April 16th. So...
And, especially for Disneyland's Avatar experience, Joe Rhode, hopefully you'll stick around for that.
Yes, you can see right about here. This was an old tweet from me back in about around a year ago now, interestingly enough, figuring out, okay, what is, how much does Pandora actually occupy right here? About 8.42 acres. That's about the smallest it can be. It's listed technically as 12, but you can probably get down to 8 acres. You can see right here where this could possibly go, up in that upper corner of Disneyland, right past the Tomorrowland core, as it's known. If you replace a little bit of Autopia, maybe Submarine Voyage, you could fit something like this in there. Again, these are just some of the possibilities that people are coming up with and theorizing. But no matter what they do with Avatar, no matter what they do with Dino Land, no matter what they do with Disneyland Forward and all the announcements that we might hear from D23 in August, you want Joe Rhode there. Am I right, Wizard?
Oh, 1,000%. He provides some nice institutional knowledge and can really definitely go ahead and help things not look so gentler.
I agree. We've seen a lot of questionable construction from Disneyland, or I'm sorry, from Disney in general. And it'd be nice to have somebody, like you said, with institutional knowledge to know what you should do, what you can't do based on experience and not firsthand experience.
Exactly.
It is totally true. Hey.
And if Joe Rody comes back, then, maybe that Tomorrowland thing he was looking at can come back.
Good point. That's a good point. I didn't think of that, but you might be onto something there, Wizard. Now, I think there are going to be other components of Disneyland Resort that take a little bit higher priority than Tomorrowland. It's always the land that's going to be built tomorrow, but
unfortunately.
It's so frustrating, but you never know, right? It could always happen right there. Speaking of tomorrow concepts, though, maybe not tomorrow, maybe a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. New Star Tours, right there. Upcoming Star Tours destinations are coming as part of the Seasons of the Force and May the 4th and so forth.
Starting this Friday.
That's awesome. So good. Love that. Love new destinations. There are some planets and so forth that I'm not necessarily familiar with because I haven't seen Ahsoka or Andor. But it's okay though. Hey, maybe I go on this and go, hey, that was cool. I want to go ahead and see that. I think they had
why isn't Seasons of the Force and Galaxy's Edge? Or at least explain it to include Galaxy's Edge.
Wizard, I thought we were going for a positive angle.
Well, that's a question that
No, it's a good question. I mean, these things should absolutely be in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Bring back Star Wars weekends for Disney Studios. We have this great canvas by which we can actually host these events, and we know that Star Wars Night is not necessarily selling out in the way it used to, but wouldn't it?
Still only one of those sold out.
Oh, really? Oh, I did not actually recently look. Okay, so 7 of 8 days are still not sold out there. That's a problem. Can we get some characters? Can we get some more things incorporated into not only Season of the Force, Tomorrowland, but get them into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. If you have to, I guess make them an extra cost option via Star Wars Night. That would definitely increase sales if you were to do that. But come on, guys, let's get that stuff going here. Let's not be limited to this timeline stuff any longer. We have a beautiful canvas in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Let's utilize it. I think that is important. I guess there were some changes made to the planet listing, which is very, very interesting right there. We'll have to see how that all works out. Very, very interesting right there. But we've got some other awesome news, simulator related.
Really?
But a little bit different. Here we go.
Yes, Mr.
Patrick Warburton returns in order to signify the change from soaring over the world to soaring over
to California.
The awesome stuff right here. I love when Disney does this. We saw a lot of this stuff with
Josh Gad was on the railroad.
Josh Gad was on the railroad. That is true. I don't have that video loaded up right now, but you can definitely take a look at that. I just think this is cool, though, to have him in the role with the flight attendant suit on or the captain's suit on. This is so cool. I think this is very awesome. I love it when they do stuff like this. Johnny Depp, famously in Pirates of the Caribbean as Jack Sparrow. If there was a second to that, I think this might be one of them. This iconic role right here. Got to be a big surprise for the fans waiting in line. This is great. This is great stuff.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh.
Look at him. Just up right in his gray hair, gray mustache role.
Isn't that great? Now, I don't have Josh Gad on the railroad, but I do have maybe a video that people didn't see. This via Matt DH, which we're getting a few of our news items from today. Bob Gurr driving his signature double-decker right here. the Main Street Omnibus.
Now, I have a question, Dr. Red.
Please.
Did you need a reservation to get in?
If they have Bob Gurr go through that hassle, you know what? I'm not just voting Pelts. I'm voting everybody else in. This is no, I'm joking. I don't even think I have any shares, but
Oh, doctor.
but no, look, it would be a crime. It would be ridiculous if they had this guy sign in. I think he can just kind of wave the pass there, and he just gets it just because, right? I hope that's how it works.
I hope. Shoot, or else he can close the Matterhorn just because.
Yeah, right. He's just like, I want to play some basketball, so everybody else out.
Get out.
I think this is great. This was a really magical moment for guests who were there to see it. I'm so glad that Matt DH was able to share this. That Club 30D, right? That they were able to capture this. Great stuff. I love this so much. But you know what I also love, Wizard?
What do you love?
There we go.
You love Norman Square.
Look. Okay. All right. This is big. Now I don't know, Wizard. I'm gonna ask you just in a moment, but I'll go ahead and tee this up.
Poopy?
Well, here we go. I think I have a. There you go. And then I think I have another one right here.
Hold on to your butt.
There you go, right there, right? I also have the other one there, but I'll save that. Okay, look. All right. There's only one restrooms between the Adventureland and Frontierland restrooms and the Critter Country restrooms. There's only one, and those are the New Orleans Square restrooms. They're located right behind Pirates of the Caribbean. Interestingly enough, there's a kind of there's an opening next to them right there that if you travel along that route, that could get you into some show scenes. Don't do that. But I'm just saying that's the proximity we're talking about here. These restrooms are the worst on all of resort property. I don't care who you are. These are terrible. And honestly, it's because they're one of the most used. Like I said, there's a long span in which there's no restrooms other than these. I believe there's some in Club 33 and maybe Blue Bayou, but that's literally it. These are the only public ones in that whole span right there. And honestly, for a while there, these were the only restrooms on this side of the park. I don't know if
that's insane.
I don't know if the old Indian Village had restrooms until Bear Country was established in 1972, and those obviously added the Hungry Bear restrooms that we know and love. But for a while there, I think New Orleans Square opens in, I want to say July of '66, if I'm not mistaken. And then once that opens, well, those are the only restrooms that are available on that side, right? Then you have Pirates of the Caribbean opens in '67. That's more demand for those restrooms. Haunted Mansion in 1969, more demand for those restrooms. In the lead up to Splash Mountain and Bear Country, people are traveling along those ends in order to get to those areas, especially Splash Mountain's opening in 1989. More on use of these restrooms. And honestly, I was looking back in the history, Wizard. These haven't been redone, I don't think, ever. There might have been a time in the 1980s that I can't necessarily account for that these might have been redone. But for, what are we going on? Almost, 40 years? 50 years? At least these haven't been redone, and they smell like it. So I am very glad that Disney's taking the time now with Haunted Mansion down, with the area around New Orleans Square getting so much construction, Splash Mountain down, that these might be getting redone here. Wizard, have you seen the permits related to this?
I think I have. I think this might have been one of the water fountain ones. So whatever they do to the bathroom, I'm sure they're going to add a new water fountain with the bottle refiller as well, which is great. Glad to hear they're going to be done because 40 years is a long time. So hopefully maybe they'll expand them a little bit. Maybe they'll clean them up. And certainly This is definitely, I'm sure, one of those water fountain ones as well. They'll probably some water fountains with a battery pillar. So all around good stuff.
I do agree, and this is tricky because it's right next to an attraction, right next to the railroad, right? It's kind of nestled away in the back corner there of New Orleans Square. There's a planter that has a high, what is it, retaining wall to it, so this makes it a little bit more complicated than your normal refurbishments. However, something has to change in this area. I'm glad this is changing for the better. We'll see when this opens what we can expect right here. But speaking of permits, Wizard, you found something that's pretty awesome. Go ahead and explain to the audience what you found.
Oh yes, I found a permit last week that Disneyland is installing 54 new show set pieces inside the Haunted Mansion. Andy from Mice Chat tweeted my tweet and said that those will likely be most of them are all for the graveyard scene. It's getting rebuilt, which would be nice and it's fresh and new. So I'm super glad because remember earlier, those permits for the projectors, new projectors in there. So looks like the Haunted Mansion will be nice and fresh and new after this because 54 is quite a lot. And nice, they're probably rebuilding everything in that graveyard scene. They may have probably just gutted it. So that's nice to see they're taking the time to redo a portion of the inside of the attraction while the outside is a whole bunch of dirt. Oh, I think you're muted or something.
Sorry about that. I do apologize. I muted myself because, Wizard, I didn't want to go ahead and talk over you. I wanted to let the audience. I wanted to let the audience really absorb that beautiful microphone that you have right there. But yeah, I mean, this is some big stuff right here. It has a valuation of $149,000, I believe. So it could be necessarily, taking things out, putting things back in. But when they do stuff like that, typically, they really go in there and they try to really refurbish those set pieces, the sets themselves, clean those scrims. People will note that the Haunted Mansion, the graveyard scene, has this kind of scrim that is floor to ceiling, creating this kind of fog-like effect for that portion of the attraction. That does collect dust. That does need to be cleaned on a regular basis. So,
I'm not sure that. Yeah, I haven't cleaned them. That's one of the. Maybe that's one of the totally brand new pieces. That maybe just totally replacing it, which would be cool.
That would be cool for sure. I'll tell you the way they used to clean that, Wizard. It was kind of a complicated process. So you had to have one person on one end, the other person on the other end, with ladders and, all of this. And you used to take two sponges, one on each side, held by the other, right? And put them together and then kind of slowly take your hands up and down that large, big scrim. And you remember that's 3 or 4 stories tall right there.
Yeah, they're replacing it because that sounds too difficult.
That's what they used to do. It's crazy. But I am so glad that Haunted Mansion is getting some interior work done, along with its refurbishment, which, by the way, I mean, they are doing quite a bit of
tearing it up.
Oh, this is from Mice Chat's update, I believe today. Yes, I think this is the one today. You can see right here what they have envisioned for the exterior of the Haunted Mansion around Tiana's Palace. You can see that the entire queue is gone completely. That has me a little worried, but you can see it right here. I mean, it is. We're talking about a lot of work right here. We're talking about some little stuff that they're adding right there.
That's nice. I got to add Luis there, little statuette.
I love that. So we're getting some improvements in this area, along with some of these new buildings. You see that exit shop right there, a refurbished mansion.
I'm curious if they're gonna kind of. Where the Tiana's queue will start, because I feel like wouldn't the gift shop kind of go into that area where the beginning of the line technically was for Splash Mountain?
It
looks so cramped, like the end of it towards the
right. I think they will have moved that a little bit in order to make way for that. But yeah, I mean, Wizard, what do? You don't have all the room that you possibly would like to, or ideally have at your disposal right here. You have to think out of the box. they might have to move some stuff around, but I don't know. I mean, we have to trust in WDI and they'll make the right calls on some of this stuff.
And speaking of that, Critter Country will be closing May 1st, but Winnie the Pooh looks like it'll be only closing for 10 days. Looks like it's going to be opening May 11th. And there was a permit to replace something in there, so at least it won't be just closed with nothing. They'll be doing some work in there, so that's interesting.
Yes. So let me see if I can find this right here. We got a couple of updates on the Tiana's Bayou Adventure front. First of all, music confirmed. Music from the film. Yeah, going to be introduced. I don't have that tweet. Wizard, do you have that tweet showing the song listings for each part? I believe Splash Mountain Archives had it. Okay. Well, I can just tell you right now, folks, that a lot of the iconic tracks will be featured in the attraction. This is crucial because for a little while there, it sounded like we were just getting new tracks completely inspired by the old ones.
Yeah. So well, for a second, it seemed like new music in general, like not even inspired, but like just totally original. Like, uh-oh. Then they started to kind of change course over time, which is good.
And that's awesome to me. I'm so glad to have heard that because, listen, WDI, come on. People love this movie. They love The Princess and the Frog. Look, I understand you want to tell your new chapter story, and we can go on. I'm gonna keep it positive here, Wizard. We can go on and say why they necessarily went this direction, but people love this movie.
Not a silly one.
Oh, go ahead.
Not a good decision. Not a good decision.
Right? It's not good. People love this film. They love this franchise. They want to see that franchise represented in any way they can with this iconic attraction being rethemed right here. The music is an absolute win. Actually, I do believe I have that.
I see this as an absolute win.
There you go, right there. I do see this as an absolute win, Bruce Banner, because people want to have these iconic songs. Now, it's unfortunate that we can't give that beautiful "Are you ready?" chorus as you're going up the lift hill right here.
Yeah,
right here.
That's unfortunate.
Missed opportunity. Apparently, Disney has a little bit of taboo with the voodoo, which is unfortunate. They even renamed Mama Odie. She was the voodoo queen of the bayou, and now she's the the bayou fairy godmother or something like that. So nonsense. But as Wizard, you were saying before, they are redoing the Briar Patch.
Apparently, according to my chat, and I didn't even notice till they set this up, but yeah, looks like they're losing a window. So we're going from 2 windows to that 1 window there on the concept art. So like if you go down below, they show a picture of what it looks like, and there's 2 windows, but now there'll be that 1 window.
Gotcha.
I guess buy some more merchandise space or something.
Let me bring this up here. I've got a couple of things to talk about this here.
2 window.
Yeah, so there's 2 windows. Okay, I see.
And then they get rid of that right one and that left one, and then so I guess they're going to place with a shelf or something.
Yeah, more merch probably in the store right there. Yeah. They're probably going to, they're probably going to redo this counter right here because they've gone with different setups now. We'll see.
Gotta get that money, honey.
I guess so. I'll tell you what, Wizard. Okay.
I guess that will go back to Home Goods or wherever that came from.
Yeah. Black Forest Decor, by the way, is where there's...
there we go. That's the one. Thanks. Shout out to Fresh Bake for finding that out. Was it last year you tweeted that out?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I mean, there were some sleuths on the internet who definitely found that out. If for those unfamiliar, what we're talking about, there were iconic Splash Mountain hand-carved pieces in these areas where you're seeing this bear and stuff like that. And
he bought that, and I think it cost like $30. I think the screenshot said like $30 or something like that.
No,
was it like 100, or was it 100 or 30?
I thought it was like 500, 600. Like, they're not cheap.
Okay. I could have sworn at least one of those things was like 100 or less.
It could have been like 100 for the small one. But it was just like off the shelf stuff in order to fill up space. And it's really unfortunate. Now, we kind of know it's going to be temporary because they're probably going to retheme this whole store. But there's some great touches in the Briar Patch right here. Which, if you guys aren't familiar, the Briar Patch actually goes back to the earliest days of Disneyland, apparently all the way back from 1956. So it's one of those original structures that was originally part of the Indian Village as the Indian Trading Post. You can see Disney actually used to have real Native American tribes actually come down and perform their ceremonies and rituals on Disneyland property for the guests to see. It was really, really cool stuff right there. Very culturally enriching, I will say, right there. But as part of that, they had the Indian Trading Post. You can actually see photos of this. It's still the structure. It's still the 1956 original right here. They've changed very little because obviously it's grandfathered in, so it's going to be interesting to see how they overcome those issues with it now. But you can see right here with the kind of iconic items that they used to sell, a lot of Native American jewelry, for example, right there, a lot of custom pieces. You can see that amazing grass roof right there. So it looks like we are keeping this, which is great because I believe Bruce Gordon and Tony Baxter took extra pains with the construction of Splash Mountain to maintain this structure because they knew the historical context for this thing. I think it's really, really cool that they're keeping this and just kind of, we're just retheming it a little bit. Sad to see one of those windows removed, but c'est la vie, at least the structure is to remain. It looks like the sign too is remaining as well.
The sign, and it looks like not just merch on the inside, but on merch on the outside. Looks like we're placing one of those windows actually placed in the pocket front.
Right. I think you are. I think you're exactly right there. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. Looks like Pooh Corner as well is going to get rethemed a little bit to the Critter Club. That'll be interesting to see. And we still don't have any information on what's going on with Walt Disney World right now in some of these places. It was just recently revealed that the Laughing Place little play area is being demolished and not necessarily being replaced, which is unfortunate. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's it. I wish it's good for the kids to play.
Right? Especially if some kids can't actually go on the attraction because of the height requirement. It's cool to have a place where rider switch can be. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll get some, because I feel like we'll get an opening date on the shareholders meeting. So maybe we'll get some more details on what happens to those stores on Wednesday. We'll have to see.
That's an interesting point. We might. But you know what I want an update on, Wizard? I want an update on this right here.
Imagine these key. They're still for sale.
They are still for sale.
Now they want you to get one. They're begging you to get one.
Now they really want you to get one, because if you see right at the top of Mice Chat's update right here, we had these signs posted at both parks. Upgrade your eligible park ticket today to unlock the magic throughout the year. They are really trying to sell those magic keys right there. They are still available. Let me see if I have the post. Yes, I do. Right here. From the website, this is not behind a queue. This is literally, you can purchase these right now. The Inspire key at $16.49, Believe key at $12.49, and the Enchant key at $8.49. As what is it? I want to get the name right. Adrian Phoenix reported with Mouse Planet's March 18th update right here. This is apparently the longest period that Magic Key sales have been available since the program debuted. That was August of 2021, I believe. So there's a long time here, Wizard. What's going on? Has demand necessarily dropped off? What do you think this is all about?
Yeah, I think everyone that wants one has one. No. Otherwise, the thing that passes, they're not renewing because it's too expensive. And the rest, they're pretty good with those SoCal 3-day tickets and other tickets. Because the park themselves seems to be busy, so it seems like people are just not opting for the Magic Key, but maybe 1 or 2 day ticket once a year or whatever they do, right. Which makes sense because this is the first time I've gotten a Magic Key that I'm on the monthly payment plan. Usually I do a full payment, but it's too pricey for me to do that. So first I'm on a monthly payment plan. So I think prices have finally got too high for people.
I think you're right. Wizard. I think the buy-in is very, very high. It's the highest it's ever been, obviously, for an annual pass type system. Reservations they're more available now than they maybe previously have been.
But they
Of course, it's seasonal. It's still annoying, yeah. It's still have to manage. You can see right here the first week of April already taken.
And also the blockout days. Like I had to get the Believe key because I can only go on the weekends. I literally cannot get another key because I can't go on the weekdays. So I'm sure a lot of people have that same shit. And then it's Believe keys up $1,000. So again, and probably doesn't make much sense for probably many people, working people who work regular, during the week jobs, Monday to Friday jobs, to get any other keeps at the top two, and then they might it's like too pricey.
And that's the thing too. I mean, it's we look. We're gonna keep it positive, and listen. I think there are positive developments with all of this. Well, we're going to go here in a moment to some of the quality of life things that Disneyland has implemented recently, and it's great to see. Like, for example, the water bottle refilling stations that they're adding to the Main Street fountains, maybe even the New Orleans Square fountains, the Frontierland fountains, Fantasyland fountains. That's all good stuff right there. We're going to talk about ticket entry in a moment. That's quality of life improvement right here, but. At the same time,
I don't know. I'm not so sure anymore. It looks techy, but Mice Chat pointed out a potential problem that will seem, I guess, potentially annoying if they don't figure it out. Hello, Theme Park Casual.
Hey, what's going on there, Theme Park Casual? You in the chat right there? Hey, kids! Hey, I didn't see you there. Good to see you, buddy. I do appreciate you coming on in here, flying in casually, as you do. I love it right here. Let's go ahead and go to that update right here that Wizard was talking about right here. Now, people who are familiar with this whole thing, do I have the original posts? I do. I'll bring them up as we're going in the background right here. But this is... these new turnstiles are based on the Parisian versions, which you can see right here. This is the Paris version of these turnstiles. BioReconstruct posted this back in 2019, so they've been around for a little while over there. And it looks like we are getting the same tech featured here, stateside. I believe it was Barry Place 28 who actually had a post on this. Let me see if I can look it up in the back right here. But why don't you go ahead and update us, Wizard, on the development here from Mice Chat.
Yeah, see. So I was very excited because of that. It'll be so quick. You just go in, they do the face thing when you come back, and then boom, it's done. But it seems like according to Mice Chat, what people experience in this test is that you have to like put your face exactly in like the outline when you return. So you have to like, get it exactly correct or something similar to that. So it takes potentially longer than the current system now if you can't get your face in the actual, the outline of wherever it needs it. So in essence, the system will just eliminate, cast member positions, but not potentially necessarily make it faster, which is unfortunate because I was hoping it would be a simple leaves face go, but it doesn't seem like that's the case.
I was a little bit worried about that, Wizard. I knew there was going to be a cast member reduction when it came to this whole process right here. Disney doesn't necessarily invest $10 million into turnstiles unless there is going to be an ROI benefit on the back end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. That's how the game works. And look, that's fine. But Bear Place 28, Bob reported that it was actually a pretty easy process, but I guess there is some complications in that you do have to line up your face correctly right here. That's unfortunate to see for sure. Let me see if I have any other. Yeah, he was kind enough to record this footage, and you can kind of see what we're talking about right here. Oh, come on. Sorry guys, do apologize. Here we go. You can see right here. Scan your card. You have to tap the screen, read your face, and then you can actually go, right? I hope that this process is streamlined even further because I think the tapping is unnecessary. You should be able to just scan your card and find out what you need to do.
Boom,
Right?
and then so hopefully they can. Hopefully that's part of the test. Maybe they can tweak something, So when they put it in, hopefully they can make it seamless and easy.
Hopefully they can. This is a small scale test right here, and it's look, it doesn't make sense to necessarily change out every single turnstile if you don't have this dialed in 100%. I think this will have benefits no matter what for people in wheelchairs, people in electric scooters, people who have strollers right here. They can use every single one. I think there are going to be a lot of benefits to the system, but you gotta dial it in, guys. Come on here. We know. Look, there are times when the two lines on each end of the Esplanade in front of these
meet.
They meet. Yeah, they meet in front of these theme parks right here. It's why we don't have great things to look at in the Esplanade. It's why it's all flat, because sometimes this does get crowded. If we can overcome these things, it'll unlock untapped potential in this area and make it a much smoother experience for guests overall. So come on, Disney, let's go ahead and figure this out right here. We have a couple of smaller stories that I wanted to run over. Here we go. From Tokyo. Let me see if I can translate this. Nope, couldn't do it. Okay. That's awesome. Let me see if I can do it on this other screen right here. From Tokyo right here. It looks like we are getting Marvel characters included in their version of It's a Small World. So the translation on this post is, at Tokyo Disneyland's It's a Small World will be rethemed It's a Small World with Groot, featuring characters from Marvel Studios, will be held for a limited period of about 6 months from winter of 2025. Look, people freaked out when Disney characters were introduced to Disneyland's version of It's a Small World. Now we have an overlay featuring Marvel characters. How do we feel about that? Wizard, I thought you had some interesting thoughts on this.
Oh, yeah, so I personally find Small World a little bit boring and annoying. But, so for me personally, I know something, the most, it's an unpopular opinion, but I'd take a ride with see some of my favorite Marvel characters on a Small World at least one time, maybe 2 times. Then I'd probably go back to not riding it at all. But it would definitely get me to ride something I wouldn't personally ride until the holidays. I usually take my small rides only during the holidays. So if there's a Marvel characters on version for a temporary time, I'd actually go give it a ride. But I know a lot of Disney purists and like me, I don't really care.
If it's an overlay, so I don't think it's necessarily all that bad. I think you can do a lot with overlays, especially with these regional theme parks that Tokyo Disney Land tends to be, that Disneyland tends to be. These overlays, I think, are fine because people understand, like, hey, the original iconic attraction is coming back. But once you make a permanent change and you necessarily change the intent or what that attraction was all about, I mean, these are modern art pieces here. I think then people have a more visceral reaction. I think this is okay. And honestly, I was just talking it over with Captain John D, which, because I'm go ahead and shutting him out, let's go ahead and play a little of that. I was just talking to Captain John D, and we were discussing this, and we think we may have hit on something here, Wizard. You do know that Spider-Man is being replaced with Pokemon over there at Japan's version of Universal, right? Universal Osaka,
yes.
If I recall?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if Spider-Man is being removed in favor of Pokemon, at least how the contracts are set up in the States, that necessarily opens up the possibility for others to use the Marvel brand in their parks if you don't necessarily represent it in a park such as Universal Osaka or even Hollywood. Hollywood used to have the Marvel rights for a certain period, but they let them go because they weren't representing that brand. The possibility of Marvel being introduced in these parks, is this a way of maybe the Oriental Land Company testing out the waters of Marvel incorporation into into their Disney parks going forward?
Oh, I definitely think so. Yeah, it's nice to see how people recept to it. And yeah, I can foresee a new Marvel attraction coming to this parks if it gets well received, which I think it will. I think, no, I don't think the Tokyo people are so, like us, the Americans for the original Disneyland. I feel like in Tokyo they won't freak out about. I feel like some may even be excited about Root coming to the small world over there because, like, our reactions over here because different cultures and different, they didn't grow up with like Disneyland. But it's interesting you mentioned that Universal Japan because it's and stay tuned to the Patreon rumor podcast, folks, on Theme Park Wizard because it seems like Pokemon potentially may not come to the Simpsons at Universal Studios Florida, but maybe it replaces Marvel Superhero Island at Islands of Adventure. So stay tuned for that one, folks. But interesting you mentioned that bringing that one up. But yeah, I do think it's a nice testing of the waters for Tokyo from Marvel.
Because we've not seen Marvel introduced in Tokyo before. We've seen Shanghai have Marvel based either attractions or I should say more shows. We've seen Hong Kong do a lot of stuff with Marvel. We haven't seen Tokyo yet, and with those Marvel rights potentially being alleviated in the form of Spider-Man taking on the form of Pokemon, that could open them up, and this is how they're gonna go ahead and testing those waters right here. I think it's a fascinating thing, but something we will have to track. Now we have a couple of more stories. Obviously, we're running out of time, so I don't want to take up Wizard's entire night right here. So we got to talk about this one though. So Communicore Hall looks beautiful, looks great. It's got some lighting attached to it right here. Some people are saying, well, Spaceship Earth has that kind of amazing polygonal structure right there. Do we necessarily want to duplicate that anywhere else? That there is something to be said about that for sure. But at least the lighting looks awesome. Hopefully it'll last longer than the in-ground lighting right there. I gotta talk about this one though here, folks. Okay. New Forces of Nature acrobatic show debuts in Inspiration Garden at Epcot. This is the most bizarre thing I have ever seen right here.
Yeah, what's going on here? I don't understand.
Okay, so apparently we are going to have an aerial acrobatics show performed by 5 lovely ladies representing, I believe, the elements is what we're going for here. It's hard to say. I can't play the music, but just imagine here, folks. This music is... I'm keeping it positive. It's a choice. I'll put it that way. It is a bizarre move. Oh, come on, YouTube. Here we go. Okay. It's a bizarre move to have had this done right here. It's a bizarre venue, too, because it's spherical, so you should be able to see this on all sides. You can't because it's necessarily covered with some of these bushes back here. First the planter, now this. I know. Casual. I gotta be honest. I thought this was an April Fool's joke, early one, because this debuted the day before.
Honestly, this looks like those Cirque du Soleil shows in Vegas, the stripper girls or something.
Well, yes, it's funny that you say that because Cirque du Soleil does exist on Walt Disney World property. It's at Disney Springs, though, which is a little bit more of an appropriate venue for this, behind a paywall. They've had kitchen cabaret before. Now we just have Epcot cabaret, or World Nature cabaret.
So do they sing or they just do this?
No, they just do this.
How long
they
does
don't sing.
Last? That's kind of weird. And they don't move. That's just like that. This is the stage.
That's it. This is the thing right here. Now we can't get, and you can see. So this is interesting. If you see the very top of it, it kind of wobbles a lot. So again, it's the more of that questionable construction methodology of WDI.
Yeah, when someone falls up there, that's a loss.
That's a very good point right there. Okay, so they supposedly, here we go, kitchen cabaret. Yeah, I know. They supposedly represent the elements. Fire's represented. Mother Nature is on top. Okay, I get that. I'm guessing air is the girl in the white dress. I believe water is represented as well. There's I guess like a few of these girls. I don't quite know what the charcoal colored dress is supposed to represent. Maybe earth. And then purple, I have no idea. Soul, maybe? I don't know. This is a questionable thing to be included in your Epcot World Showcase. And I'm sorry, in the Epcot entrance. Now, this is steps away, by the way, from the Walt statue that we've seen before. I understand in Epcot's past they used to have really kind of zany entertainment acts. I get that. I understand the history of Epcot very, very well. However, this was supposed to be a rebranded Epcot for a modern era right here. I don't know if this represents modern Epcot in the way that they think it does. And it's interesting because Disney has had a history of risque performances before. In fact, let me see if I can find it right here on the fly. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, yes, I can. So I'm going to go ahead and save this guy right here. And then, because it's a Twitter photo, I have to rename it. This is wonderful. So back in 2013, Disney had a special limited time performance of the Golden Horseshoe Revue performed in the Golden Horseshoe Saloon at Disneyland. And it featured everybody, featured the Wally Bogue type character, the Slue Fu Sue type character, and the iconic Can girls from that show that ran for, and this show was one of the longest running live action stage shows performed in the world. It had run, I believe, from 1955 all the way to about the 1980s, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a limited performance where they re-showed the show with these Can girls right here. Apparently, parents were so upset that it only lasted that single season, which was very unfortunate because they felt that these Can girls, at least in 2013, weren't appropriate for children. In 2024, how you get away with this in Epcot of all places is a bizarre thing right there. Understanding the history of the Walt Disney Company and its association with acts like this. Totally bizarre. Don't know where we're going here. And again, we don't have performers at Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Street Mystery performers, but we have these. I don't know, folks. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the chat. What you feel about all this. I'll tell you this much. We were going to cover this on that Park Place, but the subject matter is something that makes some members of that community feel a little bit uncomfortable, even to cover it. So it's like to have this in the park. I don't know. I don't know, Wizard. I don't know. What are your final thoughts on all this?
Man, that's been kind of weird, but I guess we'll see what happens. But
we'll see what happens.
Anyway,
yes.
Thank you guys for joining this lovely live stream. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out that Park Place where we can find Vash, Sky, and many more acquaintances. As always, have a universal day. See that? See what I did there?
Oh, yes, I got it.
I did.
I got it.
I did it good. Now give me $10.